Hi guys, and welcome to a game called The Isle. This is a pre-alpha demo, and basically this game has been in development for about a year or so, and the final product is intended to be a survival sim with added on sandbox and modding capabilities. So the devs that are working on this, one of the sort of lead developers, the sort of brains behind it all, is a guy called Dondi, whose name you might remember if you frequented the Primal Carnage forums. He was a developer that worked on Primal Carnage before the game became Primal Carnage Extinction. So he is... Oh, blimey. He has a pedigree in dinosaur games, as it were, and after working on Primal Carnage, decided that he really wanted to make a dinosaur game right and do it the way he wanted to see one done. So that's how The Isle came to be, and he worked on this game for quite a while before managing to get a few other people involved. One of whom being a 3D modeler by the name of Vlad, who you might actually recognise his work in game. I'll show you in a minute. But basically, he was one of the modelers that worked on the models for the Stomping Land. Now, the Stomping Land is officially dead pretty much at this point. The website's down, and the models that were used in the game, at least the ones made by Vlad, because he wasn't paid for them, they've now been given to Dondi to use in this game. So, you'll recognise quite a lot of the models in this game as being from the Stomping Land, but I believe that the final versions will actually have different colours, different skins, though the models will be the same. So like I said, this is a pre-alpha demo. It's very early stages, but they're going pretty quickly. I mean, this is the second build in well, I mean, last week he released the alpha, the pre-alpha, and there's already been an update for it which has added another dinosaur and a few other little things. So I'm going to go through just basically what's in the game at the moment. This is the island, and he's actually added on a little bit to it since the last build. I did a video and then he added another update, so I've actually had to do this again. So this first one I'll show you is obviously the human. So you've got your basic controls here. There's a kind of rubbish little jump. Got your iron sights, which obviously you can't aim while moving, which I think they'll minimise that a little bit because that's kind of crazy. And shooting, which is kind of dodgy, but as I said, it's pre-alpha, so it's to be expected. And then you've got sprint as well, which is that's that. But there are 4 playable dinosaurs at the moment. So first one is the Gallimimus. This model was actually intended to be in the Stomping Land, because there was a Gallimimus in the Stomping Land, but it was an old model and they planned to update it, and they actually posted pictures of this model on the forums while it was being made, and people sort of voted for what colour they wanted, but the game folded before it was ever put in, so obviously the final model ended up being in the Isle instead. But it's currently playable. It's got a good sprint mechanic, and it will have attacks when the game is finished, so it will actually be able to defend itself against humans. It's got pretty powerful legs, so it's to be expected. So that's the Gallimimus. This is the Puertosaurus. You'll recognise this from the Stomping Land because it was actually added, albeit in a very buggy state, towards the end of the Stomping Land's development. But it wasn't playable, whereas it is now. It can move a little bit faster. It's actually got somewhat of a sprint. It's very loud as well. So that's the Puertosaurus. Oh, I'm a human again. Sorry about that. You of course have the classic T-Rex. They've actually added day and night cycles into the game since the last update as well, so that's why it's a little bit darker. But yeah, this is the T-Rex that would have been seen in the Stomping Land, but again, it was, though it was close to being added, it never got added in the end. And it has a few different abilities. It can actually bite and stuff. And it can even roar. Which is a pretty impressive roar, I think. So, yeah, so that's been added. And finally you have the Ostroraptor. Again, this was planned to be added into the Stomping Land. He actually set a date that Jig actually set a date that he was going to add this into the game, but he just didn't fulfill his promise, unsurprisingly. So again, it's found a home in the Stomping Land. It looks like the vast majority of the models that would have been used for the Stomping Land have ended up here, and that's great because the quality on them is brilliant. I think they're the best looking dinosaurs I've ever seen in a video game. So I'm relieved to see that they're actually being used somewhere. But this is very, very, very early in development. I wouldn't expect to see this game finished for a good year and a half at best. But a Kickstarter is probably going to be out fairly soon. It was actually supposed to be out on the 24th, I believe, but he decided to wait because he wanted to get a proper video made to promote the game. Sorry it's a little bit dark, guys. It's night time after all. I'll try and stay around these lights a bit. But yeah, so it's going into Kickstarter soon. They're looking for a $50,000 goal, I believe, which would help pay for all the models that Vlad has allowed them to use and stuff. So I really do hope that it gets finished, because I hope it meets the goal and everything, because the concept of it is pretty interesting. Basically, it's going to be a survival game, but you'll be able to play as either humans or dinosaurs. And the way it works is, as a human, obviously you can get better weapons, and that's how you upgrade. But as a dinosaur, obviously you can't get better weapons and stuff like that. So the way that you upgrade a dinosaur is that you evolve into different strains. And these strains all have particular abilities that they can use. So one of them is Tessoplastic strain, which is sort of like a fast hunter sort of strain that's quick, like an assassin kind of. And then there's the Hyperendocrine, which is sort of like a tank, so you'd evolve stronger body armor and stuff like that. And there's visual changes with each dinosaur, so a single dinosaur, say the Ostroraptor, will have 3 different versions of strains, but there's the possibility they might add more afterwards, but there are 3 main ones. The core game, I don't know how many dinosaurs are going to have strains. The original sort of plan was that there would be a Megaraptor, Tyrannosaur and a Deinonychus, and each of those would have 3 different strains. Now the Deinonychus and the Megaraptor weren't in the models that were bought from Vlad, so my guess is that the Ostroraptor will instead be the one that gets the strains. But we obviously have the Tyrannosaur, and then I guess they'll do one other dinosaur as well. But we'll have to see. It'll be cool to see, because obviously there's no models of these strains available at the moment, but they are on the Facebook page. There are concept art of them, so you can have an idea of what they'd look like. But yeah, this is the Isle. There's not much to this at the moment. It's pretty much just what you see here. Oh, we have a flashlight as well. So it's very, very, very early in development, but the concept of it is pretty cool, and they seem to be churning out updates fairly quickly for this pre-alpha, but it isn't in early access at the moment. You've got to remember that. Don't expect updates all the time, because this is still being developed, you know. It's going to be sporadic at best, but you can like them on Facebook, follow their Twitter and stuff like that, I think they have, so I'll post those links in the description so you can keep up to date with all the updates on the game, and when a Kickstarter comes out, if you choose to back it. I know, like, I'm personally a little bit iffy after the Stomping Land, but this isn't the Stomping Land, and the developers seem aware of people's mistrust of especially dinosaur games with their sort of sketchy history, so they're looking more promising in terms of how they're going to deliver compared to the Stomping Land. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I will post updates when there's substantial things to post about, but I hope you liked the video. I'll try and give you guys some updates soon. There are links in the description so you can keep up with the Isle and their updates. Thank you for watching the video, guys, and take care.